How are we all doing, guys? Welcome back. Let me turn this bloody radio down so you can hear me. So, it is Diff Lock Day. Yeah, everyone knows ABS and traction control is absolutely shocking. Like I say, I've tried everything and I've got to the point now where I'm just not going to spend no more money on it. I'm basically going to swap the transfer box over for a Diff Lock one, because it's a later model 15P engine. Basically Land Rover stopped making the Diff Lock in the transfer. It's all a lot of the 10Ps have still got Diff Lock transfers on. There's no difference in the transfers. There's still the, I think it's the LT 230 1.2 ratios. Long story short, I picked a box up for cheap. I've just done all the outer rubbers on it, the inner rubbers, and put some new gaskets with gasket seal because I don't want it leaking once it's on. The only downside of doing this is obviously you don't know whether the box is any good until it goes on, so we're going to put it on now. I'm just going to show you obviously taking the old box out, putting the new box in. This weekend we're going away to Wales. We're going to do Strata, Florida, Elan Valley and a few lanes over there, so it'll be good to test the Diff Lock transfer out. But yeah, apart from that, it's a pretty straightforward job. The boys, by the looks of it, I've been doing some office work this morning, come down, the boys have already got the bolts off. There's about 5 or 6 bolts to get off, and that's out. That's the old one out. We've just got to be steady about putting the new one on. And yeah, let's go show you the difference, obviously where the Diff Lock sits, so you can, if you've got a Disco or an LT 230 box, you can check if it's actually got Diff Lock as well. Like I say, that the earlier models and Defender models had them on, but they just thought, for some reason, reading up on it, they thought that Land Rover in their wise, thinking electricals was going to do the job, and it just doesn't work. So yeah, we're going to scrap my traction control, centre Diff Lock. If I still struggle with things like that, then yes, we'll proceed to air lockers after that, but let's try the CDL first. Let's go have a look. Right, so there we go. The boys have been busy. All right, obviously stand your back and you can see exactly where we are. So centre console is out. You've done what? Disconnected the high-low box, which normally sits about there somewhere. Obviously the gear lever as well, auto, which is mine. Handbrake disconnected, all the cables disconnected. You've got a, is it the plate? Where's that metal plate, mate? There, which obviously have got rivets there and there, all the way around, which you take out. And then yeah, how many bolts you reckon? 6. You reckon 6 bolts? Yep. And we're nearly good to go.
Oh, plus the mounts. I'll get the
obviously props off. I'll tell you what, let me take you under. I'll show you the underside of getting it out as well. So that's what's off. Front pop. Front prop, back prop, and looks like the exhaust is off as well. Did you just took the exhaust off for a little bit more room, or? Yeah. Pretty much. Okay. So that's what's off. Let's go show you underneath. So that's where the back prop would run up to, where your handbrake would be. Okay. Honestly, pull you back a bit. See the cables off as well. Front prop, that should run down there. So I've just shown you exhaust. That's should run about here. So that's off as well. So it does give you a bit more room. By the looks of it, that engine mount there, well, transfer mount should I say, that'll be coming off. There's one here as well. So you're just doing top bolts up there, are you, kiddo?
Yeah.
There you go. So guys, before we rush on and crack on and get the other one in, I just want to show you quickly the difference between CDL and non-CDL transfer box. So back at the fender, some people do know, some people don't, because I do get a lot of newbies on the channel. So Diff Lock, high and low, and I'll show you what it does. Hopefully focus. That's it. Just moves this one here, okay? Putting it in centre diff lock. That way actually. You might not be, hopefully you can see it from there. Just pushing that mechanism there, look. And that's controlled by a big arm that obviously leads to the lever. Show you the box we took out. Exact same position, absolutely nothing. So that's why I was saying, hopefully mechanical will work better than crappy electrics. Wow, so big note guys. Steve the old boy. Big difference, okay? Big note to remember. If you take anything out of this video, just take this bit. So obviously, we've gone from disco box, and actually the lad I bought it off was, he bought it for his Defender 90. So, big part, front prop. Your actual bit, the flange where you actually put it on, we've just figured out the disco one, and it bit, luckily enough, before we put it actually back in the truck, that is what do you say, 15mm difference. So that is completely bigger than what this one is here.
I told my ex 15mm makes all the difference.
Mate, all that different sizes, you know. So yeah, the bit we actually replaced yesterday, we're gonna have to do again. Flip that over for the disco one. And hopefully we're good, but if you take anything from this video, just take that, okay? It's the same box, it's the same RT320, 230, sorry. 380 I'm thinking of, gearbox, no. 230, same ratio, 1.2, everything like that. But yeah, front prop does not match. Going from disco to Defender box. So even though everything's exactly the same, yeah, take that note and do not make that mistake, because we was just about to put it back in the truck, and yeah, good job we double checked. So take that note. Right, so we're coming across these differences all the time, so I'm going to keep pointing them out to you. The actual metal set that goes obviously in, imagine he was in the dash and center console here, that's that. But the only downside is this is totally different, so I've now got to do some cutting and drilling to make sure this one, grab this one, which is the one we bought, sits in there nicely. So let me have that up and you can see what I mean. So bearing in mind this goes side to side, obviously the other one went forward and back, which is great, but we haven't got no room to go side to side, if that makes sense. So yeah, we've got to cut that out, drill some new holes ready to bolt to it, attach it. The only other way around that, and I don't think I've actually got the part, is on top of the gearbox there should be like another connection, a little bit of cast where this sits onto, which then lines it all up okay. You'd still have to take a section out of that, so to make sure it goes side to side instead of, you know, back to front. Well, not instead, as well as going back to front. So yeah, let's get busy. So what I've done, guys, is just quickly just make a note of, I've just been to mock that up in the car, just to make sure everything, and I've even put the plastic sort of back roughly where it would be. So obviously you're changing from like D1 Defender parts to disco, so it's better to check before you put it on, then have to take it off to modify it. So yeah, just mocked it all up and it fits a treat. So if you're looking for, sorry about the flashing, if you're actually looking for diff lock on your transfer box, that's what you need to be looking for. Just to show you before we pack it all up. So, second day, yeah, nightmare. The 1-2 box that we put in, I don't think it was any good. Well, something's not right with it, let's put it that way. So, we've ended up putting a 1-4 transfer box that we know that works, and it does work. So, we're going to test it out this weekend, see how that works. We've tested the diff lock. We've just got to, I haven't got the right connection, so yeah, I'm doing a bit of a redneck lever to sort of engage the diff lock. It's just going to be like a lever, you won't see it because it's dark, down the bottom here, instead of that being the lever. Just going to create one of them now, so basically I can just pull it in and out of diff lock. High and low is going to be exactly the same. So yeah, the modifications we didn't really affect what we was going to do, if that makes sense. So I'll show you it once it's all done, but yeah, bit of a cock up, but live and learn. Good old boys. Glad they're not busy at work. So at this point, guys, yeah, I got it sort of all attached and everything like that, and just realised that mechanism that I had wasn't going to work because I didn't have another part to it, which I just explained about. There's a bit of cast that actually runs from gearbox side all the way up to extend it and then fit it and everything like that. So it didn't work. All right, so I'm going to quickly go show you my redneck lever. Yeah, didn't manage to film a majority that I wanted to film about. I wanted to give you literally A to B about filming, but sometimes in the workshop it doesn't go to plan, and you've just got to get stuff done. Because I was going, I think this was on the Thursday, and we was going away on the Friday, so we just needed to get the job done, get the box in. But you get the general gist of how to put a center diff lock box in, or any transfer box in, and then yeah, how to take it out or anything like that. So you get the gist of that. Now let's go show you my redneck lever, and then what we'll do is show you how well the truck performed over in Wales, and then like I said, we'll run over the pros and cons of it as well at the same time. And that's where we've got it, guys, literally down there. Shit state, but yeah, proper redneck lever. It's got the S bend in it, so it sort of comes across into the tunnel, down, and then sort of back to the top of the mechanism there. So yeah, basically it's out of diff lock now, in diff lock, job done, out, in. So yeah, what I need to do is get a rubber grommet on that, but I've found a decent part on eBay, so I'm going to get a activator, and where the blank is here, just down here, be like a switch on and off. So I'm going to do that. The only thing it doesn't do on the auto, and I spoke to my mate and he's got an auto and it does exactly the same, when it actually goes into diff lock, instead of actually bringing the diff lock light, which should be over this side, it actually brings focus your it's your oil cooler light for your auto box. It brings that on, and that's over this side. So, but anyway, it works. All right, it might not bring the right lights on, and yes, it's definitely a proper redneck lever. Doesn't really get in my way as well, actually, to be fair. So legs probably about here, but yeah, it did the job, as you'll see. So let's take you to see how it actually performed. So anybody that knows, the last time we went to Strata, I really struggled on this part. I think I took about 4 or 5 run-ups, and I literally just went right around the edge. As you'll see by this one, she just creams over it, and I decided what I was going to do is definitely take the difficult line. I was like, yeah, stuff it, I'm going for the nice deep bit, and she just trickled over. It was absolutely fantastic. I was so surprised. Anybody that knows Strata does know this is a difficult part. It's just after the bit you've seen, probably about another 300 yards down the lane. But yeah, difficult part. Nice slow trickle up to it, and there's a lot of rock sticking out. got to be really careful with your tyres. But yeah, same again, it literally just trickled over it, didn't have to put hardly any effort in whatsoever. In this one, everybody knows where it is. Geez, I would not even attempt going up it the way my traction control was. So yeah, absolutely epic. So there we go, guys. Yeah, you've just seen how well it actually did perform. So there's plenty of pros that outweigh any cons, if there is any cons. My con was probably the box itself. Obviously, it was secondhand. It was very whiny, and I could only get up to, bearing in mind I put the 1.4 box and generally the Disco 2s are the 1.2. Yeah, I could only get up to about 60 at a push, probably 65. But yeah, it was making a hell of a racket after that. Where I'm more of a 70, 80 cruiser. So yeah, the one I've now actually got a 1.2 diff lock box to go back in, so I'm gonna have to take that back out. But fair play, the box did the weekend, and basically it gave me a good opportunity to test out if centre diff lock is going to be enough for me, with the sort of lanes and the camping holidays we go on and things like that. And the simple answer is obviously yes. You've just seen by the video. So yeah, loads more pros compared to cons really. So yeah, definitely keep, well, so we're taking that box out, but definitely keeping the centre diff lock, because that is absolutely crucial. You can actually, I think the big difference between the traction control and diff lock is diff lock, you can actually feel the drive in the car, if that makes sense. With traction control, you have to boot it. You have to put your foot on the gas and you've got a brake to try and make it kick in. But as I said at the start of the video, guys, mine, it would give up the ghost. I've tried absolutely everything. But yeah, we've turned that off now. Centre diff lock is in, and yeah, well happy. So guys, I know, sorry about the video, it was a bit choppy and things like that, and I didn't get to record everything that I wanted to, but got you a video. You've got the main gist of it, and yeah, happy days. So guys, if you do like it, remember, stick your thumb up, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell notification, and please share it everywhere. So if you think it's actually going to help somebody, share the video, because it really does help with YouTube and growing the channel. So we'll see you next week.